Ooh, my stomach is talking. Good morning. My name is Lee. Welcome to this crafty space. This is a super casual place where we hang out and talk about crafty, creative endeavors, mostly fiber crafts. Every once in a while, a little something else, but mostly fiber crafts. I am, in order, a knitter, cross-stitcher, crocheter, sewer. So you'll see a little bit of all of those things, but mostly knitting, mostly knitting. Knitting is the capital K in the list. But I have a few things to show you today. I didn't do a proper episode last week. It was a vlog, and I showed you a couple of things in the vlog. I did like a little update, but so if you watch that, you might see a little bit of like overlap. But I have a good bit to talk about since it's been 2 weeks since my last formal episode. Today is Wednesday, April 12th, 13th. Wednesday, April 13th. Sunday is Easter. It is a beautiful overcast day here in Pittsburgh, PA. Spring has sprung. It feels like we're probably still gonna have one last frost before the end of the month, or at the very beginning of May maybe. But I have a coffee from the coffee shop a block away from my house. Oh my god, it's incredible. Walking to the coffee shop and back was lovely. There were birds singing, there were blooms on trees, it's warm. I didn't have to wear anything. I wore clothes. I didn't wear like a jacket or even a hoodie. It was great. It was wonderful. I was like, wow, I'm ready for spring, ready for spring. I decided to treat myself to an outside coffee today because I was out of coffee in the house and it's filming day. Why not? Why not? Yes, I have a couple of FOs today. I have lots of whips. I decided to pick up a few things. So I have I almost said an obscene number of whips. It feels obscene, but it's really only 9. 2 of them are new cast-ons. So yeah. Also, I wanted to reward myself because I finished a long-standing whip, one that has been lingering for months. And it always feels good when you get a long-standing whip done off the needles. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Did I forget to say anything? I said my name. I said where I am. If I forget anything, I'm sorry. You can leave me a comment and I will answer it. I have a neurodivergent brain that has a really hard time remembering things. I have a hard time remembering to say everything that I need to say a lot of the time. So if I forget anything, feel free to ask me a question in the comments. For projects, if I forget anything, I will have my Ravelry page linked below with all of my project pages on it. So you can find all of the details in the project pages unless I state otherwise. There is one project on here that is not on Ravelry and will not be on Ravelry. So I'll try to give you all the details to that one that I can, but it's also a little problematic. So let's get into it. FOs. First FO, these are still a little damp because, oh, real quick before we get into this, I filmed this podcast already twice. Twice. If you watched my vlog, you would have heard me complaining about how my memory cards have been acting up for my camera. And yesterday I wanted to film this podcast and I did once on my phone and then realized that I'd filmed the entire podcast without actually filming it. I just talked to the phone for an hour and didn't record anything. So I immediately turned the phone back around because I use back camera so I get better quality, but I can't see the screen, and I filmed it a second time. At that point, I'd already done it once. I was annoyed. I was tired of it. and I hate filming on my phone. If I can't see myself, I don't know what I'm doing. So I ended up saving that footage just in case, but I took my memory cards to my husband's computer downstairs and tried reformatting them there, and it looks like it worked. So hopefully both of my memory cards are back in action now. So here we are back on my camera. Yes, I'm so excited. I was reminded of that because I filmed yesterday before my FOs before blocking them, but then after I filmed, I went ahead and washed them. So these are freshly blocked, well, washed. I don't block my socks formally, like I don't put them on sock blockers. I just wash them and lay them out to dry because it's important for me to wash them, but I feel like blockers actually stretch them out too much, so I don't put them on blockers. I could put them on blockers for you guys though, so you could see them. If that matters to you, it seems like an extra step that's kind of unnecessary to me. Let me know, let me know. But my first finished object is a slightly damp pair of stripy socks. These are my April striped socks for my year of striped socks. I am doing a challenge that I have inflicted upon myself where I knit a pair of stripy socks every month this year, and I have picked all of my striped yarns out ahead of time so I don't have to think about them, and I have been staying on track. I have finished my April pair. I started these a little early, so I finished them a little early, but that gives me room to knit some extra stuff this month that I'm excited to tell you about in acquisitions / new cast-ons, because I got stuff in the mail yesterday and immediately cast both of them on. This is my pair for April. I have been including micro striping colors in my stripes because I love them and I make the rules. And this is People Mover from Sewrella Yarn. I have a little bit of a ladder in there. My ladder is a little bit tight, but you can't see it when you're wearing them. But it's People Mover from Sewrella Yarn, and I cannot remember what the contrast color is. It came from my little like basket of extra bits, but I thought it was a perfect match. And I did 3 rounds before the toe. I used just my vanilla sock recipe for this. My vanilla sock recipe is 64 stitches on a US 1 or 0 needle, depending on how plump the yarn is. I just kind of like feel that out, follow my heart for that. I do 20 rounds of 2x2 rib for the cuff, 20 or 15, usually 20, 40 to 50 rounds for the leg, and then 62 rounds for the foot. I do a fish lips kiss heel and just a standard wedge toe. And that is my vanilla sock pattern always. And I do almost all of my socks cuff down, and I prefer it. I've done a couple of pairs recently that I did that were toe up, and they don't fit as well. So I just know my body and my hands know what to do with a cuff down sock. But that is FO number 1, and these are for me. Oh, also I have a US women's size 9 foot for reference. And I knit 8 stitches per inch for socks. Second and last FO. My bangs are wild today. I really need to trim them, but also I have a cowlick right now, so I hope you're enjoying that. It's a fun time. Second FO is the Lingering Whip. This pair of socks, spoiler, it's socks, I started back in January. I think at the very beginning of the year I started them, and I finished 1 sock pretty quickly and then immediately put the bag away and didn't want to deal with the second sock. On Saturday, today is Wednesday, on Saturday I pulled the bag out and I said I'm going to finish these socks, and I cast on Saturday, and Sunday I was finishing them. So I'm so happy to have these done. Classic story. These are a patterned sock, and I have a really hard time finishing patterned socks. Not textured socks. I love a textured sock, but patterned socks, I have a really hard time. I love the way they look, which is why I always end up tricking myself into starting them, and then I can never finish them. But anyways, here they are. Focus. There we go. Look at that. Look at them. I switched the sides so that the beginning of round would be on the opposite side of the sock. That wasn't in the pattern. I did that just so that I could have the seam on the inside of my leg at all times. And I love how these turned out. These are my favorite things socks. Favorite things socks. There we go. The pattern is by Lauren Colby, I believe. Backwoods Knits, I think is her Instagram handle. I'll put it on the screen. And it's got this really cute color work toe. It's got a matching color work on the bottom of the foot to match the leg, and it's got Latvian braids, and it was my first time doing Latvian braids. I will do them better next time, but I like this one on this foot is really tight. You can see how much smaller it is. Overall, I'm really pleased with these. They're really cute. They have a little bit of a crease, but they're really cute and they fit really well, and I'm so glad that they're done. So glad that they're done. The yarn for these is Playful Day yarns in some mystery colorways. I have no idea what colors they are. She did a mystery sale at the beginning of the year sometime with mystery. You could either choose mystery sock sets or mystery mini skein sets, and I chose to get a mystery sock set, and this was what she sent. And it's got, I don't know if it's picking up on camera quite, it's picking up kind of well, but this pink here is really vibrant. It's like neon in real life. So it's got like this neon pink, and this creamy color has like pale pink speckles in it. I don't know if that's gonna pick up either. This sock, actually, the color work looks better on this sock. It blocked out so soft, so nice. But yeah, there are no color names for these yarns. They're just Playful Day, and I was so happy with the sock set that she chose to send me. And those are done. I also have a ton of this main color left. Like a ton. Like 50 grams. I don't use very much yarn for socks. I don't know how people use so much yarn for socks, because normally I think it's just because I make shorter socks. And maybe it is because this has none of the main color here, and the entire this section is all no main color. So I guess realistically it is a kind of shorter sock. I don't know. I don't know. I never use a lot of yarn for socks. I always get 2 pairs of socks from a sock set. I don't usually knit pairs of socks in just one color. So I will almost always use a contrast somewhere. So I basically always get 2 pairs of socks from a skein of sock yarn. Yeah, that's my second finished object. And that's it for finished objects. They're all done. I have to take a sip of coffee, and then we'll talk about whips. It is getting gloomy outside. So if the light changes, it looks like it's changing already. It was really bright for a minute. Now it's getting nice and overcast, so the light will be much better for the rest of the video. I need to stop fidgeting with my hair. I also feel like I'm shedding really badly. I had a hair washing day yesterday. Probably also for the best, because it was after I tried to film twice yesterday. So it's probably for the best that I have clean hair on camera. But anyways, let's talk about whips. First whip I will talk to you about is one you've seen before. And it is my waffle socks. These are a pair of socks that I have knit using a tweed yarn from Little Lionhead Knits. And I really like how they turned out. I was just talking about a contrast, and I did not use a contrast for this. I used the tweed for the heel and toes also. But I will tell you about what else I did to the heels and toes in just a second. These are no pattern. They are my vanilla sock recipe that I just told you about. I just replaced or inserted a texture into the leg and top of foot. The bottom of the foot is stockinette. But the texture is just 2 rounds of 2x2 rib and then 2 rounds of knit for eternity. And it makes this really nice, squishy waffle texture. And the color is Little Lionhead Knits Lavender and Earl Grey. And you can see it a little bit better in the ball. It's showing up much grayer on camera. It's a little more purple in real life. I love it. You can go back to me now. Yes, I love it. The only thing I did was this tweedy base from Little Lionhead Knits has no nylon in it. So I wanted to reinforce the heel and toe and make sure that they lasted forever. So I held the heel and toe yarn with this Regia reinforcing thread. It is a wool and nylon blend thread, but it is fine. And now I think these socks will last forever. The heel and toe are so like sturdy. Like they are stiff boys. But anyways, I finished the first sock and I have just started the second sock. Only just. This pair I am doing 15 rounds for the cuff before starting the leg. And this has become my computer desk knitting. So those will probably go slow but steady because I have other things that I want to work on. And they are in this adorable Delaque bag that I bought at my local yarn shop. It's got a yellow inside and I love it. It's perfect for spring. Those birds are really singing out there. It has suddenly gotten so dark. Brighten you up just a little bit. It got so dark. Next whip. The next whip I have is an accessory. Here in this hairy Woodsy and Wild bag with foxgloves on it, I believe that's what those are. I could be wrong. I say things a lot of times with a lot of confidence because I am really confident and then I'm still wrong. But inside this is my envelope cowl. This is the envelope cowl. It is a pattern by Samantha Guerin and it is really soft, really squishy, and is going to be super warm. Last time you saw it, I think I was on like the 3rd or 4th honeycomb here, so I got like 2 more inches done since you saw it last. The whole cowl will be 1 section of honeycomb and stripes, another section of honeycomb and stripes, and then 1 more section of honeycomb, and then it's joined. So I still have a little ways to go. I guess I'm exactly halfway about. And it is one skein of, or 1 strand of fingering or sport weight held for the main color here, the like color. And then the white yarn is 2 strands of a lace weight, like mohair type yarn is what the pattern recommends. I am using 1 strand of Spin Cycle dyed in the wool in the color Space Oddity. Space Oddity. I picked up 2 of these when I was in Portland at Starlight Knitting Society, not knowing what I was going to do with them, and this was perfect. And the fuzzy bit, I am using 2 skeins, or 2 balls, 2 strands held together, if you will, of Camarose Midnight Sol in, I don't know the name of the color, but it's just like the off-white color. This is my favorite mohair alternative besides like just a regular Surrey silk. This is my favorite budget option. It is 54% baby alpaca, 36% tencel, and 10% merino. So there's no mohair in it at all, but it is so soft and so lovely and doesn't have nylon in it. So love that. Camarose also is an ethical yarn maker or yarn manufacturer, and I love that. So yep, that's what I got on that. Not a whole lot of work done, but a little bit. It's a fun one to just pick up and kind of like Like Brad was watching Friday the other day while I was on my lunch break, and I just like worked on this during my lunch break, and it's nice. It's a nice relaxing knit. It looks a little more complicated than it actually is. If you've ever done this kind of honeycomb texture, I know Stephen West has done it quite a few times. It was even in the mystery knit along 2 years ago. What was it called? Slipstravaganza. It was like that. This honeycomb motif is really easy to do. Mindless. But that's that whip. Let's not forget to put my stuff back in the bag because I will forget. It's always a disaster in this room after I'm done podcasting because I just like throw shit all over the floor and then just leave it. It's fine. It's fine. We will talk about another long-standing whip that got a little bit of love. I'm very excited that it finally got a little bit of love. This is in a mystery bag. I have no idea where this bag came from, but I did just buy the Shelly can pin. It's an egg. It's a yarn egg. And now this is my egg bag. So welcome, egg bag. And inside here is my Irish Rover pullover by Tetty of Tetty's Knit Garden. Also, I'm really horrible about talking about like needle sizes and stuff. Everything should be in my project pages if I forget to say any of that. But this is the body of my Irish Rover pullover, just to refresh. It's been a while since this has been featured on my channel. I've mentioned it a couple of times. Oh my God, pulling it out of this bag, the smell is like really intense. It's so strong and it smells so good. But yes, this is the body. It's folded in half. But it is a lovely cable texture. And I have decided I will be knitting a couple more inches on the body. It's bottom up, obviously, so I wasn't sure how long to make the body before the armpits. But according to what I've seen, this has a pretty tight armhole, like a pretty narrow arm's eye. So I am going to knit a couple more inches on this before attaching anything. But I'm working on the sleeves first, so let's talk about that. If you missed all of the drama, I knit the sleeve for this, the first sleeve for this, once already, and it was tiny. It was so small. So small. By the way, I'm using Nutidin in the color Glimped. That does not show up on camera at all. It shows up a little better knit up, so I will show you here on the sleeve. Because I ripped out the old sleeve and completely knit a new sleeve. It's obviously not done. I did finish all of the increases. So it is at its full width now, and I just need to knit around until it's 18 inches, I think is what I'm making the length of my sleeve. But oh my gosh, it fits so much better now. I made an effort to loosen up my gauge a little bit, but also I bought new needles and I used wooden needles. We're past the elbow, not too much farther, about 7 inches maybe. Also, this is the length I like my long sleeves. I don't like them touching my wrist. I do not like them touching my hand. This is perfect. But yes, I bought wooden needles. I didn't size up or anything. I just bought wooden ones instead of using metal ones like I did the first time, and it made a huge difference in my gauge. I'm happy that I ripped that back and started over. It really didn't take that long because the gauge on this is pretty large. These are size 8 needles. Size US 8 5mm needles. That got some love. This yarn smells so good. Oh, I was going to show you the color up close. Maybe you can see it a little bit better knit up. It's like a natural beigey color, but it's also got gray and pink in it. It's glorious, and a little bit of yellow. It is glorious in person. That is what's in my egg bag. Who knows when you'll see that again. It seems to get a little bit of love and then put away for a while. I actually started that sweater for the Crazy Cabled Sweater Cow, hosted by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady and Lindsay of Sock Witchery. And that is ending at the beginning of June, I think. So I still have time to participate in that and finish that for that. So I might do that, actually. That pattern, the Irish Rover pullover, is also part of my Make 9 for this year. other whips. We still have a few to go. The next one I will show you is my Seaborn tee. This is a pattern by Hannah of Herb Garden Knitwear. I'm sorry I'm not showing you like patterns of anything because whenever I print out paper patterns for myself, I prefer paper patterns. I only print out the pages I need, so I never print out like a cover page or anything. It's just a waste of paper and ink. And that's the only thing I can really show you. So sorry about that. But like I said, all of the project pages are linked below. The Seaborn tee by Hannah of Herb Garden Knitwear is a summer top. It is a t-shirt, but it is knit in worsted weight, but it is knit in a summer fiber. I am using 100% Pima cotton, and I have finished, oh god, if I can get it right. Here we go. I finished the body. Look at that. I hold stuff up and it like shadows my face because the window is kind of bright. But look at that. I finished the body, seamed the shoulders together. It's going to be a little bit oversized, but not too much. And I love it. I just have to pick up around the collar and do a little bit of like finishing on the collar, and then I gotta do the 2 sleeves. But they're 2 sleeves. Wow, there's a dog making a ruckus outside. They're 2 sleeves. They're short sleeves. That's what I meant to say. Oh my gosh. This pattern is really cute. It's got these little micro stripes going down it, and also this fun twisted stitch shell pattern on the bottom. And that shell pattern is also on the sleeves, which is super cute. Also, this yarn is so like hefty. It's really weighty. It feels comforting, like a weighted blanket or like a thunder vest, you know? I love that. Speaking of which, it is Juniper Moon Nev. It is a worsted weight 100% Pima cotton, and I'm using the colors number 33 Hot Espresso for the main color, and color number 19 Limelight for the contrast color. This color is really hard. This color is really hard to pick up on camera. It is really a like browny purpley gray, or a grayish purpley brown. It's really interesting and I love it. So yeah, it like makes sounds when you do stuff with it. That's my update on my Seaborn tee. I was not planning on getting much done on this because it was my dedicated knit night knitting. But then I got close to finishing the body and I just decided I was gonna do it, so I just did it. Next, oh, I'm dropping stuff all over the floor and not putting it back in the bag again. Uh-oh, I'm hitting the thing, the tripod, sorry. Also, the bag that was in is also a mystery bag. I know where it's from, but we're not talking about them right now. Not the shop, the country that it's from. I have no idea what shop it's from or who it's actually from. I really do not know. And I'm not just saying that. My last whip that is not a new cast on. Wow. The 3 after this one are all new cast ons. Actually, let me change my battery and then I'll be back. New battery, let's go. Last whip that you have seen previously is in my little handmade quilted bag. I hand sewed this using vintage fabrics and embroidery floss. And I love it. It has a flannel lining, my favorite. Love a flannel lining. And this is my trumpet pullover. I have giant DPNs in here and they are a pain in the butt. I really need to keep them not in the bag. But those will be for the sleeves. I don't have shorter DPNs in that size. But anyways, my trumpet pullover. I actually don't even know where the pattern to this went. I set it down somewhere and forgot about it. So I don't even have the printed pattern for this one out. But I got some work done on this one as well. Actually, having the weekends off is great for my knitting time because I don't have children or other responsibilities. And since I quit working at the bakery, I work full-time during the week at home. So I have evenings and weekends free. And I didn't used to do that because I used to work 2 jobs. Now that I only work 1, it's amazing how much knitting time I have. Anyways, trumpet. It's a little wrinkly because that bag is too small. I'm actually about to switch this bag out. Switch this project with my Seaborn tee, switch the bags because that bag is bigger and this project is larger than my Seaborn tee. So pardon the wrinkles, but I separated the sleeves. Oh my gosh, I am loving how it looks so much. Look at this drape. Look at this drape. You see that? That bounce really shows like this, the way this feels. It's so soft, so squishy and plump. Oh my gosh, these sleeves are gonna be huge. This yoke took forever because it is long. You can see how long the project is. And I just connected for the body. I have the sleeves held on my knitting barber cords. And I have a folded over collar, which is called for in the pattern, but I did it as I went instead of going back and stitching it down. That's a pain to me. It seems unnecessary. So I just knit it together as I go. And it's got these gorgeous cabled raglans. And now it's just stocking it forever. The sleeves on this are pretty big. They're kind of balloony, but the cuff is really long. It's an extended cuff. And I'm really excited for that. It's gonna be so cute. I'm probably gonna knit the body to length before the ribbing and then work on the sleeves and see how much yarn I have left because I might make it a little bit longer than the pattern calls for. This one's gonna be kind of oversized and I want to be able to wear it over leggings. So, yes. My aesthetic is 80s sweater with leggings, always. So that's how that's going. This is a pattern designed by a designer who does a very lovely job, but I will not try to pronounce their name because I am really bad at it. I'm normally not horrible with names, but this one gets me. It gets me. I don't know how to pronounce their name. But it was designed for Woolfolk for their Fleck collection. And the yarn I'm using is, I actually have a freshly, oh no, I have a skein here. I have a hank. Is Fiber for the People. This was my Christmas gift to myself this past Christmas. It is their hemp merino sport base. It is a sport weight. It is 70% organic merino and 30% hemp in the color Lantana. It is hefty. It's 328 yards to 100 grams, and I bought 5 skeins of this so that I could make a nice, big, comfy sweater. And that is what I'm getting. I actually was worried that I wasn't going to get the size I wanted out of this. Like, this is a size 3. I don't normally make a size 3. I normally am size 4 or 5 always. But I decided that once I got to the bottom of the yoke that I would try it on and see how it fit, and then I would decide if I would keep increasing or not. But it's plenty large. It's plenty large. So I think the size 3 was a 48-inch bust measurement, and my bust is 42 inches, so it still gives me 6 inches of positive ease, which is right in the sweet spot for me. Right in the sweet spot. But yeah, that's that. It also kind of matches my nails right now, which was not intentional, but I'll take it. I have 2 skeins of that left. 3 actually, because I just caked up another cake. I'm not even gonna try to stuff this back in this bag because I'm going to switch those bags before I go back downstairs. So that can stay out. But I have 3 whole skeins of that left, so I think I'll be able to get quite a hefty sweater out of it. All right, I just have 3 more whips. Only 3. only 3 more whips. But they're all new cast-ons. You have not seen them. The first one is a weird one. It is in my paisley and gold Hamilton bag. It is dirty. You can see like spots on it. It really needs washed, but it is the first Hamilton bag I ever bought, and it really set me off. I love paisley and gold sewing's Hamilton bags. They're so good. And it's, you know, supple. The handle's all supple and stuff now because it's been used for so long. But in this, I have a crochet project. A crochet project. This is one I have to show you, actually. Let me get my phone. It's been sitting over here on the charger. This is a project called, because I don't know who the designer is or anything. Giant Snail by Megan Lapp. And this is the Ravelry project, or the Ravelry page for it. It is a $6 pattern, and it is a giant snail, but it's super cute and kind of weirdly realistic. And so far, I have the little belly done. This is my giant snail. I am using Malabrigo Rios, and this is in the 2 colors. This is a worsted weight 100% merino yarn. I'm using the color 227 Vulcan, which is this color, and I'm using the color 122. This cake is in a state. 122 Niebla, which is this color. Don't focus on it. There we go. So these are the 2 colors together. This is the little belly and underside, and will also be the shell of the snail, and then this will be the body of the snail. And I'm using the called for hook, which is a G 4mm hook. You don't need to see, it's a G 4mm hook. And this is just a Clover Amore hook, and I really like it. I bought this for a test crochet that I recently did and did not need it, but now I'm glad I have it because now I have it for the snail. But that's how that's going. The body I think is going to be the hardest part, so I've been kind of putting it off because I can crochet. I can figure it out, obviously. And I actually crocheted before knitting, but it's not as intuitive for me as knitting is. And knitting makes a lot more sense in my brain just naturally. So crochet takes a bit more concentration. But that is my first new cast on. Crochet! Who knew? I've been really, ever since I've been making more of an effort to buy ergonomic crochet hooks, I've been having an easier time crocheting. It's been a lot of fun. My last 2 projects are acquisitions and new cast-ons, and they're both in Woodsy and Wild sewing bags. These are the sock size, and I love them. I have progress keepers on their little D-rings for when I need them. I use progress keepers to keep track of my row counts. This is a gold sandstone progress keeper that I made myself from some childhood jewelry. And then this one is a skeleton cookie. I believe it's from Simply Serving. But in here, I have 2 pairs of socks. I have a pair for me and a pair for Brad. Like I said, these are also acquisitions. These are my only acquisitions. So welcome to also the acquisition segment. But I got 2 sock sets in the mail day before yesterday. I waited to cast these on until after I filmed yesterday, but the minute I finished filming yesterday, I caked these up and cast them on. So sorry I can't show you the beautiful like sock sets all hanked up and stuff, but it's okay. I have bands. The first one is not a mystery. This is a sock set from Tiny Human Knits. The ball band. Tiny Human Knits is doing a sock set, or a striped, self-striping sock yarn every month for the first 6 months of the year, I think, based on Lord of the Rings. I think they're all based on the Fellowship of the Ring for this first 6 months. But I bought the one for March. I believe it's March. Might be April. Whatever. I bought the Balrog of Morgoth, which is, here's the information. I went ahead and bought the 100-gram sock set because I wanted socks for Brad and for myself out of them, or out of it. And this is what the cake looks like. I have done a repeat of the pattern so you can see what it looks like knit up. This is the Balrog of Morgoth self-striping knit up. I'm just in the next like black stripe here. Isn't it incredible? Like I said, these are for Brad, and oh, it also came with a mini, like black mini. It's a really nice tonal black. It's not like black, and I actually used it for the 3 rounds starting the socks so that I could make sure my stripes were easy to match. But it matches super well to the black in the self-striping. Yes, Brad's socks. These are on size 1, US 1, 2.25 millimeter needles. And I do his socks 68 stitches instead of 64 because his feet are a little bit wider than mine, but not as wide as a 72. He doesn't have huge feet, but I do his 68 stitches, and I do them ribbed for a better fit because I don't know, I've been experimenting with socks for him for a long time, and rib socks are just the way to go for him. He stretches things out. I don't know how it works. But I did a 1x1 cuff here instead of a 2x2. And then a 3x1 rib for the leg, and I will continue that down the top of the foot. I didn't do a set number of rounds for the cuff. I just knit 1x1 until I was basically in this yellow here so that I could transition smoothly. The yellow was a nice distraction from the transition from 1x1 to 3x1. But I really love how these are turning out. So cute. I cast these on last night. So cute. I am excited to make myself a pair. I will be using the black that it came with as the contrast color for the heel and toe for him. I may have to find a different color for me. I was thinking for my pair, I might do like a different contrast color than black. I have some options, some fun stuff, but I also have black in case I do want to do that. So yeah, that's my first acquisition and new cast on all of the stripy socks, apparently. And that's that. I have one more to show you, but this one was actually a mystery club. So if you ordered the April mystery sock set from Northwoods Fibers and you do not want to be spoiled, do not watch. This is the ball band. This is Northwood Fibers, and the color is called Painted Desert. Are you gonna focus? There we go, Painted Desert. And this was the mystery sock set, like I said, for April. I gave myself grace, as I've mentioned before. I quit my part-time job. I'm working full-time at home now. Money is inconsistent, so I can't buy as much yarn as I was, which is fine. I'm not supposed to be buying yarn anyway. But I gave myself the grace to buy a mystery sock set every month. The idea was that I would buy a mystery sock set from, sorry, extra came down with that. The idea was that I would buy the mystery sock set from Murray and Company. This was her March sock set. There we go. The idea was that I would buy the mystery sock set from Murray and Company every month, or allow myself to buy the mystery sock set from Murray and Company every month. But the April sock set, she doesn't show the actual sock set, obviously, but she has like an inspiration photo that she posts. It didn't really speak to me, and I follow my gut with that. So I allowed myself to buy the mystery sock set from Northwoods Fibers instead. I'll put that back on the shelf later. So since I allowed myself to do that, I anyways, very excited. I was very excited. I have had my eye on some Northwoods Fibers self-striping yarn for quite a while. She came out with some winter colors that I really regret missing out on. I have a real regret. I think about them all the time. But I really liked the idea of this mystery like inspiration photo, so I went for it, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did. I'm about to show it, so if you don't want to be spoiled, don't look. Here's the cake. Like I said, sorry I don't have the hank to show you, but this is the cake. And it came with this many. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh, even better. I started a sock. This one is for myself. Vanilla sock recipe, my normal vanilla sock recipe. And here is what it looks like knit up. Get you on a side that doesn't have that an obvious transition. Look, oh my gosh. Isn't it beautiful? And here's the contrast color. It's the same as the dark red stripe in there. Oh my gosh. I'm in love. I'm so glad I went for it this month. So glad. I am going to check out the mystery sock set from Northwoods Fibers every month from now on, and I guess I'm going to decide between this one and the Murray & Co. one, because those are the two. Those are the two. Last year I did Coast to Coast Yarn Co.'s Mystery Mush Club, and I signed up for it at the beginning of the year and signed up for the entire year, paid for it all at once. So I had a mystery mushroom yarn every month come in, and since I didn't do something like that this year, I'm allowing myself to get a mystery sock set every year. I mean, every month. But oh my gosh, I just can't with how good this is. It's so good, so good. And it's on the 80/20 base, the same as the Tiny Human Knits one, an 80/20 2-ply, which is just a lovely, plump, delicious base. And that is it for acquisitions / new cast-ons. And these two socks are the only thing I worked on last night. They were the only thing I wanted to work on last night. I just alternated between these two. I have a feeling they're not going to be on my needles for very long. But real quick, before I get into just like life chatter, I wanted to show you, oh wait, I have one more whip. Oh, I have my cross stitch. I brought my cross stitch to show you. I didn't show it last episode because I hadn't done a whole lot on it, but I've done a little more on it. So again, I will state this every single time, but I am not a I don't take my cross stitching too seriously. I just do it for fun. I try to make it look cute. It brings me a lot of like chill. So don't come at me for how this is sitting in this hoop, hanging on by its little toes. It's getting the job done, and that's all that matters. So yeah, this is the cross stitch that I've been working on. This is a pattern by Satsuma Street, and it was her free download at the beginning of quarantine. And I started it that long ago also. It says, let's stay home. And since you saw it last, I finished this blue color. I finished my red crosses. I had just a few reds up here to finish. I started and finished this purple color. I started and finished this like olivey green color that's around these edges here. And I started the dark green fill in here. So that's where I am with that. I can't believe I almost forgot to show you that. This has been, I've had a few moments these past couple of weeks where I'm like sitting around, and I think I almost have too much free time now that I'm only working 5 days a week. But I should really like clean the house or something whenever I feel like that. But I'll be like sitting around knitting, and I'll put all my knitting projects down, and I'll be like, I don't want to work on any of these. And that's when this comes out. Actually, I have a couple more cross stitches on the go that I could bring out into rotation. I just have not. Oh, dang, I do have one more thing to tell you about. Speaking of bringing out into rotation, I have a hibernating, it's not really hibernating. I started this project a long time ago. I finished knitting it and it needed finishing, and it ended up going into timeout, the choky, hibernation, whatever you want to call it. I just did not want to finish it. So it's been sitting in a closet for a while. But yesterday I pulled it out of the closet because it is about to be seasonally appropriate, and I just kind of want to finish it. So this is the one that I mentioned at the very beginning of the episode was problematic, but we'll talk about it anyway because you may see it at some point if I ever get around to actually finishing it and wearing it. But this is a project that I started at the beginning of quarantine. It is from We Are Knitters, which is the problematic part. I won't get into all of the drama with We Are Knitters, but this is not the place for that. Everyone has their opinions. I have mine for sure, but this was done a long time ago and does not affect my future decisions with We Are Knitters. Anyways, this existing pattern from We Are Knitters, I knitted up at the very beginning of quarantine, and it is a seamed garment, which I should have known better, but I don't even remember the name of the pattern. But this is a t-shirt. It is a lace t-shirt, and it is knit out of cotton. So it is definitely a lightweight garment. It is a spring, summer, warm weather kind of garment. When I knit this for the first time, or originally, I actually thought it might end up being a little too small, but I've lost a little bit of weight since then, so I think it's actually going to be perfect now. And I have all of the pieces are done. The sleeves are attached. This sleeve is actually seamed up already. This sleeve still needs to be seamed up. And then the side seams need to be done, and I have to weave in ends, and that's it. That's done. So I took this out yesterday, and I actually just kind of set it by the computer. So instead of knitting on like my computer socks, I was kind of like seaming this as my computer work. And I think I'm just gonna leave it there and see if I can finish it at some point. This is knit out of We Are Knitters, the cotton. I have a whole ball left from when I did it. You got this. There we go. And the color is gray. It's just gray, but it is definitely not a gray color. Like, it's definitely more bluish gray. But I like it. I think it's going to be a really nice, useful, basic top for the warmer weather, even though I would not recommend the pattern because obviously I have had a hell of a time finishing it. I can't believe this wasn't just knitting around. And at the time when I started this, I don't think I was confident enough to just modify a pattern. So I think if I had known better at the time, I would have just modified it to be knitting around, especially the sleeves. Like, why wouldn't the sleeves be knitting around? But it's too late for that. So I'm just gonna try to push myself to finish this. This has come out of hiding. The ribbing is also kind of messy. I can't wait to block it and see if that evens some of it out. You can really tell I just have more practice now. Like I said, I don't even remember the name of the pattern, but I don't recommend it. So, and not even just because of We Are Knitters, I don't recommend it because it was not fun. That is it for whips, right? Right. All right, the last thing I have is I just wanted to show you real quick since I finished my April striped socks. Oh man, this coffee is like intense. It is making me salivate a whole lot, but it's also drying my mouth out. All right, so what was I saying? Oh yes, my year of striped socks. Since I finished my April socks a little bit early, the time does not matter. I will not start my May striped socks until May. But I have already picked out my entire year of striped yarn, so I figured I'd go ahead and show you what May's striped yarn will be. I'm going to, the 2 pairs of striped socks I started yesterday, neither of those will count in my year of striped socks. I'm doing those as extras, as bonuses because I want to. I still want to get all of the striped yarn I picked out knit up, but the yarn I picked for May is deep stash, which is another reason I kind of wanted to do this, because I had some deep stash self-striping yarns that just weren't getting the love that they deserved, and now I have to. But this is a Desert Vista Dye Works colorway. There we go. Desert Vista Dye Works. This is her Viso sock base self-striping yarn, and the colorway is George, which is based off of her Men of Music, I believe, collection, and this is George Strait. So that's it. It's got these fun blues and leathery browns and tans. Perfect for the king of country. I could not pass up a George Strait colorway. Who would? Who would? That will be my May self-striping sock. I've been thinking about whether I'm going to podcast every week or every other week, because for a couple of weeks there, it felt like I was kind of running out of things to talk about. But I really liked vlogging last week, so I might do alternate podcasts and vlogs. I can't believe I cast on 2 new socks. I have not been in a sock mood lately. I really wanted to get all of my sock whips done. I mean, I still have plenty of time, but I want to get all of my sock whips done. I want to clear my sock stuff, my sock bags, all my needles. I want to have everything clear when summer sock camp starts, because I love summer sock camp. It's my favorite. I want to clear some sweaters before summer sock camp, because I would like to not have the extra pressure during summer sock camp. I want to just have free needles, free head, clear. I have a goal to make at least as many pairs as I did last year during summer sock camp, which is June, July, and August, I believe, normally. So all summer, 3 months. Last year I made 12 pairs of socks in 3 months. I also worked on other things, I'm pretty sure. But if I could make at least 12 pairs this year, I will be happy. Obviously, one of each of those months is going to be my self-striping sock. But I can go ahead and pick out 9 more yarns from my stash. Maybe I don't want to do that though. Maybe I want to just really follow my heart. I've been really enjoying like finishing a pair of socks and coming up here and looking at all of my sock yarn and being able to go just like, ooh, this one's really nice and this one's really nice, and pulling out like 2 or 3 and being like, I'll do this one. My spring and summer shelves, I wonder if I can turn you real quick. My spring and summer shelves over here. Yes, there we go. This is my spring shelf. Well, spring/winter shelf. And then my summer shelf. They're getting a little bit of extra room in them. I'm like going through my yarns. I've added a couple of things to stash, but not like a ton. Well, I'm really blown out over here with this light like facing the window. It's so bright. But I'm clearing out a little bit of space, and that's exciting. My fall shelf is packed because I have not been working on fall yarn. It hasn't been fall. But I'm gonna make a dent in this bad boy when it starts getting closer to time. There's even like, this goes in the fall shelf too. That I pulled that one out in the video. But yeah, that's my sock yarn. Isn't it nice to just be able to like, oh, I like the look of this guy, and like pull it out and start a pair of socks. No pressure. We do this for fun. We do this for fun and because we love it, not because there are rules. No rules. You make your own rules for your own knitting. That's what I believe. That's all I got today, I think. I don't think we have any life updates or anything. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I've been making art every single day. I actually had a bad art day yesterday. And by bad art day, I mean I made art and it turned out poorly. I like tossed my painting. It was no good. I ruined it. But it was good because it's important for me to make mistakes and live with them, because I have a really hard time failing. God, look at this mess. I need to go through, these are all my tags. They're supposed to all be in this basket, but they're obviously not fitting. But I'm trying to be a good podcaster and keep all my tags for everything, but it's hard not making a mess while you do that. Yep, that's all I got today. I'm gonna go get some work done for my art business, and then I will probably take a lunch break and knit on some stripy socks, because that's all I want to do right now. And I will see you guys in the next episode.